Michelle's studio, thank you for inviting us to your
course.
studio. It's absolutely fabulous. I'm terribly jealous. It's a lot of room here. But how did you come by getting interested in working with wood? Going from being a master chef?
I was an executive chef. I went to the Culinary Institute of America, and I had a great time. I enjoyed the creativity of it and all of that. Then I got divorced, and I had a toddler, so I couldn't work nights, weekends, and holidays.
Mhm.
So I got into restaurant equipment supply sales as a
It's a
manufacturer.
little boring.
Well, it was and it wasn't. I mean, I was a manufacturer representative, so I represented 35 companies from around the world and brought their products to the United States. And it gave me an opportunity to take my daughter to China and learn how China plates are made and all kinds of things like that. So there was a lot of fun with it, and I was pretty successful with it. But I had that missing part of that creative outlet. There just wasn't enough hours of the day to do both. So I took a leave of absence from there and started tinkering around with different things. I had a laser that I was fooling around with, and one of my laser projects was all different types of wood. And I didn't realize how many different species and the different colors and the different grains, and I just really fell in love with the art of the natural wood.
How did you know to get involved in wood? Did somebody turn you onto it?
Well, my grandfather used to fool around with wood when I was a kid. I'd make birdhouses with him, and wood is my middle name, so.
Oh, really?
Yes, yes.
Oh, that's
It's a
interesting.
Scottish tradition to take the grandmother's maiden name as the daughter's middle name.
Oh, yes,
So-
I did that. It's an Italian tradition too.
Okay.
I have my both grandmother's middle name.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
yes.
So my middle name is
That's
Wood,
interesting.
which I always hated as a kid because all the kids were like, knock on wood. But now it just kind of feels karmic, you know?
Yes,
I
absolutely.
Just ended up doing
I
that.
mean, what more? It's not coincidence.
Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah.
It's a legacy.
It
Yeah,
is.
really.
It is.
And my uncle was a wood carver, and then he turned into a glass sculpture. But he was here last
That's not
year.
easy.
No, he made beautiful abstract wood carvings, and somebody said, I love this piece and I'm going to buy it, but I want you to make it out of glass too. So he had to learn, and then he all of a sudden became a glass artist with, not all of a sudden, it took years of working on it.
Glass
But he-
blowing, you mean?
No,
Or-
he carves molds and then they pour the forms, but he's
That's
one of the
amazing.
top glass
Okay.
artists in the country.
Wow.
And
That's
he's
amazing.
very good at what he does. And then I was fortunate enough, my aunt and uncle were here around the time of Under the Oaks to come
I
visit.
remember.
Yep.
I remember that. Yes, I remember. We were there at your tent.
Yeah,
And you
and
said my uncle and I met your aunt.
yeah,
Yes, I
And-
remember the story about that beautiful piece that you brought the
yeah,
client,
yes.
right?
And I didn't know this until he came for that time, but he said that my great grandfather was a master wood turner. And he
Wow.
turned all of the spindles for the banister for Thomas Edison's house.
Oh,
And he
wow.
was sharing this story with a coworker, and the coworker said, well, my father's a master carpenter, and he's doing the renovations on Thomas Edison's house right
Oh
now.
my God.
So he brought one of the
God.
spindles from the banister, turned out of walnut, and my uncle gave it to me when he was here.
Oh,
So
you have it
I've
there.
got it
You
in
have
my
it
shop.
there to show us.
Yes.
That's a show.
That
Oh,
is
man.
amazing.
That's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Yeah, it's
These
very neat
stories.
to have it.
Wow, what
Some
amazing
history.
Yeah.
stories. What a history behind your.
Yeah.
No, now why? Now I know why. like
You've done.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
in your blood. That's
So
fantastic.
tell us a little bit about what you've planned to show us here. It's the
Well-
beautiful colors.
Being that I'm not like a lot of people think I can do construction work because I work with wood, and I'm not good at that at all. But I lean to the artistic side, and I lean towards culinary related items because
Oh,
of
of course.
my culinary
Duh.
background.
Yeah.
So I do epoxy live edge river tables, and I call that the chef's table. That's my table division.
Interesting.
Good name.
And
Yes.
then I do cutting boards and charcuterie boards and a couple other little odds
What
and
is
ends.
a charcuterie board?
Charcuterie is French for sausage making. So
Oh,
Oh, I never knew that. I could barely say
Who makes
charcuterie. I
sausages?
still can't say charcuterie.
so it's just sausages, salamis, pâtés,
Oh, yes,
and
yes.
cheeses on a board.
Prosciutto.
And when people come into my booth and they don't know what charcuterie is, I just tell them it's adult Lunchables.
There we go.
and then they
The
get it.
Americanized
That's
way.
right.
of-
That's right.
I
That's
love
funny.
that.
And we could have missed this
Yes,
piece,
we
right?
dragged it over.
For the Art Chix with our
Your wine caddy. So
wine
cheers.
celebration. Cheers. Okay, this is fantastic. Yes, I love
Adorable.
that.
What a perfect gift.
Dresses
What a
up
great
a bottle of wine.
It does.
Absolutely.
You can
That's
take that to the
fantastic.
beach or a
So-
romantic
Yes.
date. or
Picnic.
whatnot.
Absolutely.
Yep.
What a
Yes.
nice gift that would make.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It's
Nice
nicer than
bottle
just
of wine.
sticking it in a bag and
Yeah.
I love it.
Two
That's one.
unique glasses. That
Yeah,
would be
yeah.
fabulous.
Yes, absolutely. No,
A
that's
nice
great.
hostess gift. if
Yes.
you're Going
Yeah.
someplace
It
for
is.
Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Got the piece. Yeah, so what about this?
You can get into
view?
some. So
Yes,
this is
let's get into the
this is
piece.
not part of the culinary creations,
Yeah.
but it's one of the pieces I made. But this is a piece of driftwood, and what I do is I color the epoxy. I clean up the wood, and I sand it down and clean out any punky parts. And I color the epoxy and I thicken the epoxy, and I just paint the whole thing with the epoxy. And then once it dries, I sand it down, and whatever's left in the voids is what we have.
So this is
Good.
actually
Gorgeous.
epoxy and pigment.
Yes,
You
yep.
paint it in there.
Yep.
You let it dry, and then you put a coating.
And then I do a clear coat of epoxy over it, or actually several clear coats. But it makes a nice little, bookshelf piece
Yeah.
or whatnot. I had one person say they wanted to put a metal rod in it and mount a bass on it. Whatever,
Yeah, you know,
or
if you have-
driftwood.
if you have a small narrow wall like over there,
Mhm.
you can mount something to hang it there.
Yeah.
Sure,
Yes.
yeah.
I have vaulted ceilings with one of those ledges that go all around, so
Yeah.
I'm always looking for
Yeah.
something
Yes.
cool and colorful.
Absolutely.
That's
That would
good.
be- This would be nice, but if you suspend it from the ceiling and put spotlights on it.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
for life.
The possibilities
The
are
world
endless.
is artists.
There you go.
Yeah, we come with all that creative
Yeah,
things, so,
Our candles.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, beautiful.
I've seen ones like that too I'm a big person into the, what are those plants called? The air plants?
Yes.
Yes,
So if you've ever gone to some of the local places, they
I
have
have a
big
ton of them in my.
pieces like that you can actually stick the air plants in. I'll tell you, they go for pretty penny and they're beautiful. And they make the colorful little air
Yeah.
plants really stand out.
we were talking about salami and.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Cutting
cheese
board.
and, yeah, that's beautiful.
So I have a couple of different types of charcuterie boards. This
Yeah.
is one type.
Very
This is-
masculine.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it's monkey pod. I love the grain in
Yes.
monkey pod.
What's
It's
monkey pot?
it's a Florida native wood, and I never
Really?
experienced it until I moved here. So
What's the real name of the tree? Monkey pot?
monkey pod.
Does that have leaves and
Yeah,
berries?
as far as I know, I'd have to look it up because it's brand new
Well,
to
I'm
me.
gonna have to
I'd
look
never
it up.
heard
It is
of it.
beautiful
Yeah.
though, beautiful.
Yes.
This is one of my
Beautiful.
mom's favorite pieces,
Oh,
but
okay.
Yes.
yeah, so I will do this, but then I'll also take other ones that if there's a void where it was like a little punky spot or a knot, and I'll fill it with epoxy. And what I always tell people is, like something like this where there's no epoxy at all, you could use this as a cutting board, or you can use it as a serving piece and charcuterie board.
Mm.
But if there's any epoxy in a piece, I always call it just a charcuterie board because I don't want people cutting on the epoxy.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
epoxy can chip, and then you don't want to be eating that.
No,
you know?
yeah,
So,
yeah.
so that's those are just my wood charcuterie boards.
Okay.
And then that'd be a good gift for a man who likes to cook.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very masculine.
Yes.
I love
These are a couple of examples of
Wow.
my epoxy
Yeah.
pieces.
Colors.
Oh, look at the
Purple.
colors.
Yes, they're so beautiful.
I've got a
Purple
ton
and
of pigments. I've got all different
Yeah.
colors.
Is it powder?
Yeah.
I use different types.
Stunning.
This
Oh, you
color.
put the shell, I mean, you got a shell.
Yeah, put shells in. This
Her name is Michelle.
That's right, the
This-
shell.
this pigment is
And wood.
powder,
Shell and wood.
but I'll also use alcohol inks as well.
Okay.
Oh, alcohol.
Wow.
And,
I haven't tried that.
no?
Well, we have a class coming up this fall and winter. Yes,
Oh,
we
yeah,
do.
oh, tell us.
Absolutely.
Alcohol?
Might as well segue.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, the art club has a tremendous amount of classes this year. Actually,
Yes.
Judy, you are teaching one of them.
Yes, and
An oil class in April, a portrait oil class. But we are doing alcohol inks with Keith Mills. He's also teaching watercolor 1 and 2. We have Christina Thomas doing acrylics, paintings, and like an open studio type class. We have Gabriela Hernandez doing color informed collage. We have a whole bunch of opportunities. So if you are interested in learning something new this year, which we should all aspire to do
Yes,
every year,
absolutely.
right?
Yes.
Go right on our website, VeroBeachArtClub.org, look right under education, classes, and you will see our long list of classes this entire year. Actually, Zach Gruber is even teaching a printmaking class this year.
Is he?
for us.
Oh,
Yeah.
that guy.
So we have
He's
a
so
very
much fun.
egg tempura. I mean, some really neat, different. We're trying to turn in different,
I
instructors.
still have to submit mine.
Yes,
Yes,
we'll work on
I'm
that. It's all
ready.
right. I
I'm
have
ready.
you in
I'm
charge
working
of a lot of my other programs.
Yeah, I know,
so that's
I
fine.
know, but I'm
Mine's
not
not
sure.
till April.
But
Yeah.
going back to this, it's just gorgeous.
Absolutely stunning.
Oh,
And I've got
goodness.
regular, different types of wood in these types, and this is burl, which is very highly sought
Oh,
after
yeah.
because
Gorgeous.
it's highly figured, and that's really just where a scar takes place in a tree, and it's the healing process, but it gives nice figure. And then this one is just a piece of babinga wood that I put in there, and then the seashells as well. I have all different types, and I can make anything. If people were big into guns, you can put empty shells in one. You want, I've got golf tee ones for golfers. We can put fishing lures in. I'm gonna work on some sushi ones for this upcoming season. So there's all different things. You can put anything in it,
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So you
fantastic.
must really have an appreciation for the anatomy of the tree.
Yes, and I'm learning as I go.
We have a tree show coming.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
A tree show.
A tree
Yes.
show at the Environmental Learning Center. We're doing a little plug.
Yes.
Okay.
Every piece is, we have 5 artists
Yeah.
they're gonna do the show, they're gonna participate in the show. And it's all about trees. So
Oh, wow.
every piece has to have trees.
Yeah.
It's called the magic of trees.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
while we
Giveaways that we just decided on
Yeah.
today.
yes, we have giveaways.
Reveal.
We're not gonna reveal yet.
But the
We'll
first
come-
item, we haven't decided yet. For
Yes.
so many guests at the opening reception,
Yes.
will get a free giveaway. And it's going to be
Yes.
very interesting
Yes.
and original.
Yes,
Nice.
yes.
When is this?
This is from November 10th, I think is the opening, it will be 2 months. November, we're gonna have
an opening and a closing.
an open and a closing. We have November 10th will be the opening, and December 29th will be the closing
wow.
party.
Okay.
And we're trying to figure out something to do with a New Year's theme too.
Yes.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Yes.
Whatever
So,
you do is a lot.
yeah, everybody's invited, and so I mean, a lot about trees.
Very good.
This is about trees.
That's why I love the Environmental Center and the shows that they have, because it is so educational and,
Yes.
environmentally friendly.
Yeah,
You learn a
yes,
lot when you
it
go.
is.
We all, some of us moved here later in life. I love this place. It is so beautiful and I'd like it to remain so.
Yeah.
It's changed just in the 18 years since we've been there. The lagoon, has changed. There's not as many manatees and that'll all come back, I think. if we
It will,
play
sure
our
it will.
cards right.
Yeah.
It's just, Florida is beautiful.
It is,
That's
it
why I live
is.
in Florida.
A little slice of paradise.
Look at this. I mean,
Oh
that
my gosh,
design
that's
on
beautiful.
top of that one, oh gosh, look at that.
You gotta get close up on that one.
Oh,
It's beautiful.
This is
So
beautiful.
this is called my weave style cutting board.
So, how do you do that? Yeah.
This is all, there's no dyes in any of my boards. They're all natural,
That's nice.
because you don't want any dyes if you're gonna be cutting and cooking on it.
Yeah.
So this is all just different species of wood. So it's walnut and purple heart, babinga. The white stripes are maple. This is yellow heart, padauk, and then back to walnut again.
Oh, I think you need to have a little label.
Yeah, I do. I put all the
Yeah.
species
It
on the
has all
tags. And this is a face grain board, and this is an end grain board, and I'll explain the difference between the two.
That's
This
I know.
is one I just finished, and this is walnut, Wenge is the black lima, padauk, and then black Wenge again. And this is all book matched, and it's an end grain. And they're, you can go different price ranges in both styles of boards. Face grains overall tend to be a little bit cheaper than end grains because they're a little bit less labor intensive.
Yeah.
Not necessarily this one less labor intensive, but because of all the cuts that is made with it. But with the face grain board, when you're cutting like this. So you're cutting against the grain, which will leave you some scratches over time, but that's not a big deal. You can sand it out, and I give you a care and usage sheet so that you know how to take care of it. But it will slowly dull a knife, but it's more cost effective. So with the end grain board, like I said, it's like cutting into a hairbrush, so the fibers close up, and And so you don't have as many scratches, you don't dull your knife as fast, and you can, with it self-healing like that, it makes it more antimicrobial than a regular cutting board, because like say you're doing chicken, the salmonella or juices are not getting into the pores of the wood.
Oh, I always worry about that.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about it as much. But then when you're done using them, you wash them with soap and water, and I let them air dry, wipe them down with the towel to dry. But then I always say put it on end, because if you just lay it on your counter, there's still going to be moisture, and that can warp a board and cause tension, and it could crack. And then I always treat my boards with mineral oil. Don't use any other oil because everything else will go rancid. It's got to be mineral oil. And then I use beeswax to condition it as well.
Oh, you know, there's such a work of art.
It is.
It seems like you should have some kind of an attachment you can put on the wall and put it on the wall.
You know, so many people come to my booths and say, I can't cut on that.
No, that's what I'm just
because it's work of art. Some people buy them to put on display in their kitchen, but I encourage people to use
But
it.
it's utilitarian. You can have both.
You can do it both,
Yes.
or buy two.
Yeah, buy two, that's right.
There you go.
There you go.
I like that solution.
I like the market.
Yeah,
There you go.
marketing part. Yeah, absolutely.
It's
One for
really
display
good.
and one to use it every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
But I think you could do both with one.
yes.
Just make sure you order.
You have to really
Yes,
use the right products
Yep.
and take care of
Just
it.
take care of it, and that should last a lifetime.
I love this purple.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think
gosh.
it's
Maybe
gorgeous.
Michelle, you have to engineer a rack that it goes onto. That is pretty.
There you go. Yeah, just
Yeah.
a little stand. I
Yeah.
use plate stands very often.
But
That's
I mean,
something like I could do a wooden
such an
plate.
artist,
Use the
I
wooden
think
stand.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can come up with
There
a
you go.
wooden stand
Yes.
that will match
It
the,
goes on the wall.
that will
in the
match
kitchen.
this, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's great.
So,
So,
so should we go into her?
we should go into the
work
studios,
now?
okay,
Yeah,
so.
I think
Take
so.
a-
Yes,
take
so
a
let's
look
go take a look at all the
Yeah.
machinery that you use, because, you know, there's a lot of work going on there with all the machinery to cut the wood, so
Yeah.
Michelle's just
There's
gonna
a
show
lot
us.
involved to creating this beautiful work of art.
Okay, let's go check.